Hey guys, welcome to today's reading. Today we're going to be tuning into the energy of October and seeing everything you can expect during the upcoming month. We'll be getting some messages and guidance for you, and today we have a beautiful selection of autumn drinks for you to choose from. If you've been to this channel before, you know the drill. You can just choose your drink and then scroll down to the timestamps in the comments and the description and jump right into your pile. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. Basically, I do pick a card readings, but I often use food items instead of cards. You're going to see which of these drinks is sticking out to you, calling your name and your attention, and then as soon as you've made up your mind, you can scroll down to the timestamps in the comments in the description and head into your pile. Just a little note, even though I'm doing food pick a cards, I'd recommend making your mind up based on the energy that you feel called to, not necessarily the food item you feel is the most delicious or that you would order in a restaurant. The energy is the most important thing, and the food is just representations of the energy. So pile number one is the tea with the citrus inside of it. Pile number two is the beautiful teacup with the tiny apples next to it. And pile number three is the pumpkin coffee drink. By the way, if you like how I read tarot, be sure to head to my Patreon to get access to all my additional readings. As soon as you sign up, you'll get access to over 65 additional readings, and new readings go up all the time. You can click on the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description and join our little team over on Patreon. I would love to have you there. Also, if you would like to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a half hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, or channel intuitively for you. And you get to decide what we talk about or what you ask about. Within reason, most things are totally allowed, and it's your time to focus on whatever topic you would like. So if you would like a private reading with me, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Now, if you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need, but we're going to go ahead and jump into pile one. Hey pile one, welcome to your reading. So let's start off with some oracle cards. You guys got Root Girl, the Disowned Self, Deep Diver, diving into a task, and Closing Door, completion. So as we enter into the month of October, I feel like a lot of you guys in pile one have been doing some purging of things from your past. You might have had a lot of memories come up for you, a lot of thoughts of things from your past, and that is a good thing. It's almost like you're clearing the slate for October. This energy may persist into October for some of you guys, but I do feel like a lot of it has to do with these past retrogrades that we have been collectively going through. And whenever a retrograde happens in a certain area of life, that is an area where we're going to have memories come up. We're going to have a lot of past memories and situations, and our mind is going to be thinking of those areas. It's kind of an opportunity for us to grow, learn, see what we want to do differently. And so I feel like for a lot of you guys, you have been feeling these six retrogrades very strongly, and as we enter into eclipse season, this energy can continue. But the amazing thing about it is it's kind of like clearing the slate or erasing the chalkboard so that now you can create something new. And I do feel like for a lot of you guys, you're ending things. You may be going through a serious ending during October. So for some of you guys, you may be leaving a job, leaving a career situation, leaving a relationship behind. And it may be that final moment where you are ready to put it in the past. And for others of you, it may just be triggering up memories and thoughts about things in the past, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes I think people think, well, oh, I keep thinking of my ex-boyfriend, I'm supposed to get back together with him. But sometimes that's just supposed to come up to teach you how far you've come, or to purge through some trauma you didn't really realize you had. And it's not exactly pleasant when we're going through these moments, but like I said, it really allows the slate to be cleared so that we can enter into this new month month with a fresh start, and we can clear out whatever this is from our past for manifesting something new. So I feel like as we enter into October, maybe some of you guys have already been dealing with this in September during all these 6 retrogrades. Maybe you've just had memories come up for you, but either way, it's a really good thing. And I actually feel like October is going to be a little bit of an easier month for you guys because you've been doing so much of this work in September and earlier on. So yeah, a lot of you guys, there's a lot of pain coming up for me. I feel like a lot of you guys have been feeling really intense emotions. You guys might have been feeling abandoned or feeling lonely, or some of you guys may just be in a period of kind of rest. I'm almost getting like winter vibes. You know how in winter you kind of have to sit inside and think and ruminate with your emotions. You can't just go out and like have fun and play in the, the warm air. It's more of like an interior period to really do a lot of thought, thinking, and recollecting and all of that. And I feel like that's what you guys have been going through. And October actually, I think, is going to be easier because of this. But let's get into your tarot. So we got, oh wait, that's the last card. I want to start from the top because your first card is the Ace of Cups. Then we got the Strength card, the Nine of Cups, the Lovers, and the Knight of Wands. So I really love that we're starting off with the Ace of Cups. So this is not going to be a bad month, even though these are heavier energies. There is the opportunity for a beautiful, new, fresh start. And what I'm hearing from Spirit is that Spirit has been putting in your mind visions and guidance of what they want you to step towards. And this is why I said sometimes when we have these memories come up, as painful as they can be, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it's not necessarily a sign that, oh, I took the wrong path, I did the wrong thing, I should have done this. Just because you're thinking about an old friend or an old relationship, an old job, whatever, it may be that that area is the area where you're going to be welcoming in this new start. So the Ace of Cups generally has to do with new relationships, new friendships, could be a new creative project, but it's very heavy on new relationships combined with the Lover. Some of you guys may be meeting someone new. With the Knight of Wands coming in, this person could be very charismatic. They could be a lot of fun. Generally, the Knight of Wands is someone who's very fun, loves to do a lot of different things, maybe in really good physical shape, might be very active, and very sexy, has a lot of sex appeal, and just someone who may just be one of those people that kind of loves to be busy and loves to be doing stuff and is very like feisty, fun, energetic. But either way, there's going to be a very new beginning coming in for you, a great opportunity for you guys to create something new, to meet people that are like-minded. And sometimes with the Ace of Cups, that can be a long-term vision. And this is what I think is really important to keep in mind, is sometimes when we have, I think, painful memories coming up, the moon rules over memories, and I feel that especially when there's really strong astrological energies, we often just get a lot of memories plaguing us. The moon also rules emotions, so we can be filled with heavy emotions. We can be feeling like we even need to like rest or sleep a lot. I don't know if some of you guys have been going through that in September, but as we head into October, this is an opportunity for you to kind of see like, oh, it makes me really sad because I was thinking how good I used to be at math and how I used to be on Mathletes and I really loved my teammates, and it just brought so much joy to my life to be able to meet up with them. And so maybe that's your sign that you could find a way to work more math into your career. Or maybe you keep thinking of an ex-boyfriend, and when you really think about that, what you really loved about him was how much fun he was and how he was just the life of the party. And so maybe there's a way for you to seek out a life that's a little bit more sociable, or find a partner who's more outgoing or something like that. But sometimes we have these memories come up, and it doesn't mean we're on the wrong path. It just means that we kind of have to like shift things and move back into a different like future. We can create whatever future we want, and we can use that as guidance of like, okay, so I was on the right path, or that's not quite what I want, or I thought this was going to make me happy but it didn't. I always say life is like you get to pick your own adventure, and it's kind of like Spirit is showing me someone at the at like an ice cream shop of all places. And I don't know if you guys are like me. I'm the kind of person that I always usually just get chocolate. Like my ice cream is pretty boring. Usually I get vanilla with like chocolate mix-ins. And I'm always like, who is ordering, like the lavender, honey, eucalyptus flavor that sometimes you'll see at ice cream shops? I don't know what kind of flavor you guys get, but sometimes I'll have friends or people who will like tease me and be like, oh my gosh, again, you're getting the mint chip again, or chocolate chip again, or moose tracks again. Come on, do something crazy and, try this one out. You got to get something new. And so I'll be like, okay, you're right. I always get the same. So I'll get the cherry chunk peanut butter thing or whatever. And you know what? It never really makes me happy, And I'm always like, I want the chocolate. Like, I know it's boring. I just want the standard boring chocolate ice cream. And I think the cool thing about life is it's kind of like you're in that ice cream shop and maybe you ordered wrong, and maybe you ordered like the lavender honey super gourmet flavor they have, or the like green tea or Earl Grey or whatever flavor, and you're trying to branch out, but it's not quite you. And at the end of the day, you want that chocolate flavor. You can always just be like, oh, let me throw this away and let me go up and ask for what I actually wanted, It's like sometimes I think in life, we think things are so serious and we feel like we have to be stuck with these options we pick. We feel like we have to, well, I'm in this is my career. I went to, school for it. I got my degree. So now I'm stuck and I have to continue on this path. When the reality is you can change it at any point. It's like, imagine just being like, yeah, this lavender is gross. I don't like it. And then just throwing it in the trash, going back in and getting moose tracks. And again, you don't have to have the same ice cream preferences as me. You can like whatever you like. So if you're like, no, that honey lavender thing sounds amazing, then by all means get that. The point is picking out what's right for you and being like, that's my choice. Because I know every time in the past when someone's like, no, don't get that. No, try this. Oh, it's really good. No, I promise you'll love it. I'm like, no, it's not what I want, And everyone can have their own preferences, but it's never too late to be like, yeah, I messed that up and I'm going to go back and let me go switch that. So I feel like for a lot of you guys in October, there's like this planning energy happening. There's this energy of you guys really mapping out what you want for your future. And this may be something that's a long-term project. Like I'm hearing 6 months for some of you guys. And it may not be like technically moving forward in October, as in it's perfectly ready to come into full bloom and fully happen, but you might be mapping out, and this may be a really important month for you to map out what you want 6 months down the road. It may be something that could be really fruitful for you, because the Ace of Cups is such a beautiful fresh start of all the ace cards. I mean, all of the aces are super positive, but I would probably say the Ace of Cups is my fave and the most positive, because we're talking about the beautiful areas of love, connection, psychic ability, creative projects. And so there's so much potential here. The Ace of Cups can be so, so, so fruitful. So there's something here that I feel like it's like it may take you guys a little bit of time to build, but it's going to be something that you really, really love. And there may be the potential in the month of October as well for meeting like-minded people, meeting people you really get along with, and meeting someone that you could have a romantic connection with, or just a close friendship, something that could be a very fruitful relationship for you. Also, if you guys have been feeling under the weather, you are going to be feeling a lot better and a lot stronger in the month of October. I feel like things are going to get easier for you guys, because I'm getting that maybe September has been a little tough for some of you. So October, it just seems to be lessening. The energy seems to be lightening up for you and getting a lot better. We have the Nine of Cups as well. And so there's a lot of opportunity for socializing. There's a lot of opportunity for getting out there, talking to people, making friends, and even for like a beautiful wish to come true. So if there's been something that you've been trying to manifest, you might start to see it. Like I said, maybe it's not fully ready to fully happen 100%, although I feel like for a lot of you guys, you might be seeing a lot of progress with this. You might see some kind of wish start to come true. You might start to see, it's kind of like the energy of spring, how maybe it's not, you know, when it comes to spring, you're not talking about everything's fully in summer and everything's fully green and super warm, but you're going to start seeing those little sprigs of green pop through the frozen ground, and you're going to be like, oh, the first pieces of grass, oh my gosh. And maybe if you live somewhere with flowering trees, you start to see the little blossoms forming, and you know, you can start to see the greenery vaguely happening, and then that's that process, right? So I feel like for a lot of you guys, October is a really great month on your path, and you're getting a lot more visions. I feel like one thing that's happening for you is you're coming into October much clearer about what you want in the future as well. And this is such a big part of manifestation. This is why retrogrades are really helpful, is they kind of purge up, bring everything up from the past, stuff you've been trying to hide. This is why Venus retrograde tends to cause so many divorces. And by the way, like this year, this last Venus retrograde has been insane. Speaking of like all the retrogrades and all the purging that's happened, I mean, that's just proof of how intense these astrological energies were, that we were all collectively dealing with so many divorces. And the thing about that is generally speaking, it is relationships that maybe people tried to overlook or pretend or just put on a brave face and be like, no, it's fine, no, I'm happy. And then the retrograde is like, well, let me reveal the truth about this. So I think for a lot of you guys, you might have truths that have been brought up for you. It's not necessarily a sign that like, oh, you have to go get back with that person, or this stage in your life is wrong, or you did that bad, or you need to go back to this. But it can be a sign that like, well, what did I love about that person? Oh, okay, well, maybe I can seek that out in this person in the future. Or what did I love about that job or that living situation or whatever? Maybe I can recreate it by moving towards this. So it really gives you a great perspective on what you want to leave in the past and what you want to bring in for the future. So let's get into some of these cards. So we got closure, commitment, compassion, and reconciliation. So for some of you guys, you might be reconciling with people from your past. I also feel like for a lot of you guys, it may just be that things are coming up from your past that, again, it's not necessarily that you have to get back with these people or this situation, but it can be that you're like, you know what, I have forgiveness to offer this person, or I have a different perspective, or, you know, in the future, in blah, 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 I want to copy this part of whatever we had. Maybe an old friend, you are thinking of them a lot. Maybe you don't want to get back with that old friend, but maybe you're like, you know what, we always had so much fun because we'd go out to get Taco Tuesday together, and I definitely want to find a close friend that I can get Taco Tuesday together with. You know what I mean? Or I had a friend and she was super wild and we'd go out. So I want to find someone, I want to find a friend group that I can go out with them 5 days a week and they'll be the life of the party, and I want to just bring out that energy in myself, you know? So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the answer is with that person. It can sometimes be your little map for like, that's what I like, that's what I don't like. Again, it's like for me, you know, even though I am always committed to having my chocolate chip ice cream, now I'm glad the few times that people have made me like try the little crazy sherbet flavors, because I'm like, I know I definitely don't like it. So it's cool that I tried it and now I'm going back to chocolate, you know? So it's not a bad thing. It's not a tragedy. It just means now you know what you like, and that now you know what you don't like, you know? But yeah, I feel like for October, for a lot of you guys, you're going to be, some of you guys are really thinking of building something big. There's something in your mind that you want to take on, a project, a new beginning. And also this may have to do with relationships. You may have been thinking more and more about the kind of relationships you want to bring in, the kind of relationships you want to build for yourself. And I feel like you're kind of much closer than you were in the past. I feel like Spirit wants you to know that if there's something you are trying to create, be it a family, be it a relationship, be it a creative project, you are so much closer than you realize. You guys have made so much progress. And I also feel like some of this interior work you've been doing, some of this introspection and the negative feelings that have come up for you, the reminiscing or whatever, don't think of that as a bad thing. I actually feel like for a lot of you guys, this is exactly what you needed to do, because some of you guys, I'm not going to lie, you might have been a little off track. You might have been a little not as close as you were. And I feel now you've recalibrated. You have, maybe you got off this little trail and now you're veering back on it, and now you're a lot closer than you were. So I actually feel like October, there may not be as much happening for you guys, but November, December, January, especially the beginning of 2023, for a lot of you guys in pile one, things are picking up steam a lot faster, and you're going to have something happening around then. So right now, it feels like you're in a little bit of a lull period, kind of like purgatory. And I always think it's interesting, we as humans, we tend to hate the energy of like being in purgatory when there's not a lot going on. It's like, oh, okay. Like, even in a way, it'd be more interesting or better if someone was like actually suffering, right? Because sometimes being patient during purgatory, when you're like, okay, what's going on? Nothing's really happening, nothing's moving forward. It can feel so boring, but it's actually like the most powerful period. It's kind of like when you're a pregnant lady and on the outside, everyone's probably like, oh yeah, nothing's happening, you look the same to me. You don't actually get to see the baby, you don't get to see how the baby's developing, but the most important and craziest changes are happening on the inside of that woman when her stomach probably still looks flat, and throughout the whole 9 months. But on the outside, technically, you might just think, oh, that person ate a big lunch, or they gained weight or something, because they may just look completely the same on the outside, or there's a little bit of a bump or whatever, and people might have an idea of it, but they could never fathom what's actually changing so dramatically on the inside. And so I feel like for a lot of you guys, it's like you're not quite ready to give birth to whatever this is. You're not quite ready to bring it out into the world in October, but there's so much powerful potential. And for those of you guys who are wanting a relationship and may have been feeling lonely during the retrogrades, or having thoughts of an ex, or maybe you're trying to deepen the relationship, you just need to know you're really on a good track. And things might start really pinning out for you in November, December, especially the beginning of 2023. But I do feel like in October, for a lot of you guys, there's going to be something very new coming in. There's going to be some kind of a new opportunity, new fresh start, possibly traveling for some of you guys, or some kind of a new, not necessarily a move. For some of you guys, there may be a move, but thinking about, I feel like, a new location somehow. Thinking about some kind of a new thing you want to move towards. Could be a new workplace or whatever, but I feel like this is the path you guys are on, the path you're headed on. Even if you're not there right now, even if you're not ready for the move, there's something very fresh. It's almost like you're being remade, pile one. It's almost like you're leaving behind so much of your old identity and stepping into this new version of yourself. And I feel like this is why all these past things had to really come up for you. It's because before we enter into a new identity, we kind of have to like shed the old. It's just like a hermit crab, or I just saw the guy who like catches lobsters on TikTok, and he was showing this. I didn't know lobsters shed their skin. I had no idea. And he had caught a lobster with a really old skin that was about to molt, and I was just shocked. I was like, what? How do they let go? Like, how do they even do that? And the thing is that all those creatures, once the shell starts getting kind of old, they're ready to move into the new one, but it is a painful process, and we got to get rid of the old to get into the new. And whenever, the interesting thing as well that's coming up is whenever they step into their new shell, it's actually highly sensitive, and they don't have the same protection once they're in their new shell that they did in their old. So like if you caught, like they were saying, the old lobsters with the old shells, they were saying it's kind of gross to eat. It's hard to eat, and it doesn't taste as good because of the how old the shell is. Like the shell is so old, it's very like tough and strong. And as soon as they move into the new shell, the new like outer casing or whatever you call it, it's actually a lot softer. So they're a lot more vulnerable if you catch them. They're also a lot easier to eat. So that's what restaurants really like to see, is a shell that had freshly molted. And it's funny, I wasn't thinking of this in spiritual terms. I was just like going down a little like Wikipedia rabbit hole because I was like, oh, this is interesting. I didn't know that lobsters shed their skin like that. And it's funny that it's coming up for you guys because I feel like you're almost in this energy right now where you are a little bit sensitive and you're feeling a little vulnerable because you've shed this old identity. And as we come into March, you're ready to kind of create this new start. But the thing is that the lobsters, they're not supposed to have the old shell. They can't, and it's not as good for them. And it's actually better for them to have a new shell, even if they're a little more vulnerable at first. So this is a really good process for you that you're going through, even though it may be hard and you may have been having so many emotions coming up for you. Again, I feel like you're letting go of the old, you're shedding your old skin, and you're actually a lot stronger in October. You have a greater grasp on what you want for your future. And I think things are really going to start getting more interesting as well at the beginning of the year. But October, there's so many opportunities for new relationships, for meeting people, for talking to new people, and kind of getting your head around what you want. So this may be a really important and valuable month for you to manifest specifically, make a vision board, that kind of a thing. Because I feel like your powers are very much attuned right now. Your guides are very close to you right now. And it is a powerful month, even if you're not feeling as strong. By the end of October with this strength card, you're going to be feeling back to your full strength. So anyways, guys, I really hope that helped and I hope it resonated with you. Let me know if it did. I love hearing from you guys, love hearing your thoughts and your stories. So let me know. Also, make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button if it did resonate, and make sure to subscribe, turn the notifications on, hit the little bell so you can find out as soon as I post next. If you want to see more of my content, head on over to my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. So as soon as you sign up, you'll get access to over 65 additional readings. New ones go up all the time. So if you want to join our little community over on Patreon, I would love to have you. The link is underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description, and I'd love to see you there. Also, if you want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. You can sign up for a half hour or full hour long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you, and you get to really choose what we talk about. So if you want a reading with me, go to my website, and the link for that is in my description, briarrosetarot.com, and I'd love to do a reading for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, Pile 2, welcome to your reading. So let's start off with your oracle cards. You guys got a tidy house, clarity and organization, lay of the land, ancestral wisdom, fortune's wheel, luck, and right timing. And as I was just getting into these cards, I was going to talk about something else, but I just saw a little orb floating by in the corner of my eye. So I'm going to actually talk about this lay of the land, ancestral wisdom card, because some of your ancestors may be very close around you. You may literally be spending more time with family in October. So seeing your family, friends, aunts, uncles, all of them. But for a lot of you guys, this may be your ancestors on the other side, just being really close to you. The veil actually gets a lot thinner during the month of October at this time. That's why we celebrate Halloween at this time. But I feel like for a lot of you guys, there's an emphasis on your ancestors surrounding you. You may even feel called to do some research on like the traditions of your ancestors. So whatever ethnicity you are from, there's always going to be spiritual traditions handed down throughout the family. Even if you didn't have family members to directly be like, oh, we used to do this, you can go and do research on your own, whatever country your ancestors are from, their religious traditions, spiritual traditions. Every group throughout history has had their own spiritual traditions to talk to the other side, to ask for things from spirit. So it can be a really powerful thing to actually get more in touch with that, even if it was like 1,000 years ago, or maybe whatever group you're from has been Christian or whatever. And so maybe it's not something your parents directly taught you, but you can still do research and tap into that, and talking to those deities and getting into whatever, you know, spiritual tradition can be such a powerful thing. And even that's why a lot of groups engage in ancestor worship, and they'll leave out a little spirit house or a plate for the ancestors and give things to them, because our ancestors can really be powerful tools on the other side to help us to achieve goals. They are working for us really strongly. So for some of you guys in the month of October, you may feel really called to speak to your ancestors, to thank them for things, to ask them for things, and to get in touch with some traditions with that, because I do feel like they're a very powerful presence with that orb just floating by right as I was going to begin. So I was already picking up on that vibe, but that solidified it for me. Let's also talk about this tidy house card. So for some of you guys, you might be making some house or apartment renovations. You might be deciding what kind of a house you want. If you're in the market to buy a house or to get an apartment, this may be a great month for you to really think about the kind of vibe you want, the interior design you want, and to start making changes. If you're like, oh no, I know I'm going to live here for a while, you might feel called to redo, the living room, or to change up something in your kitchen, or just to spend more time at home. You might feel called to like putter around and cook and be in that kind of nesting Cancer energy, because Cancer rules the home, the house, and the family, and it loves to do things like cook and make a nice house and do anything like homemaking mom vibes. So you might feel really called to cook. I love to cook at this time of year because it's all homey and autumny, and I love to make like the pumpkin spice stuff. I mean, actual like pumpkin spice, not the just like kind of a joke of a flavoring, but the actual, actually, those are a very old school, like English seasoning set, like cloves and cinnamon and allspice and all of that. So speaking of getting in touch with your ancestors, maybe you're like, let me whip up some kind of food that like is passed down in my family. That can be another powerful way to get in touch with your ancestors. But either way, you guys may be spending time at home cooking and really enjoying your home, and feeling the need or the urge to curl up on the couch in a little ball with your blanket, and just to spend a little bit more time enjoying and relaxing. There may not be as much of a need to like push yourself to go outside and to like run around and do like highly strenuous activities. So if you're feeling called to really spend some time inward, maybe cozy up and get some tea and read a book or something, then maybe that's exactly what you should do. So with the Fortune's Wheel, luck and right timing, this is also going to be a very lucky month for you. I always associate this card with Sagittarius, because that's what it relates to in the tarot. And whenever you have Jupiter Sagittarius energy, that means you're going to be very lucky. So this may be a really great month for you. You might find things really working out for you this month or paying off. Like it may be one of those months where you randomly enter into a raffle and you win, or you apply for a loan or a credit card or something and you're like, oh, I don't think I'm going to get it. And then you get approved and it's like an amazing rate. Or, you are looking for a house and you put an offer in, but you're like, I don't think they're going to accept. And then they accept the first time. So this is a really great month for things to really work out for you and to magically work out in your way. Let's get into some of the tarot. So we got the Death card, Queen of Cups, Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, Page of Swords, and the Hanged Man. So with the Queen of Cups, again, that's a very strong, speaking of Cancer energy, cups are water, so Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. And with the Queen of Cups, you may really feel that need to spend time at home, not by yourself, but away from the world, kind of hidden away, and to spend a lot of time inward. Whenever we're in a Queen of Cups energy, it can show that we're also highly creative, or there's a lot of creative potential here. There's a lot of potential for you to create something new, to be very psychically connected. You might just just be very psychic at this time. Maybe this is another reason why your ancestors are very strong around you, because I do find people who do spiritual work tend to have a very strong team on the other side. And, it's almost like because they talk to the other side is just like way closer to them. So I will often find when I do readings for other like light workers or spiritual people, private readings, they tend to have a team that's very like accessible. It's actually a lot easier to do readings for them because like they'll just be louder as well because they're like so close to them all the time. You can just hear them louder. So anyway, some of you guys may be doing some spiritual practices during the month of October. You might be getting more spiritual or just be very on point with your psychic abilities. You may be able to like hear things from the other side, hear little instincts. And a lot of times when you're in that mode, you might feel the need to spend more time by yourself or kind of in the home. That's why Cancer is the crab and relates to that. And it's a highly psychic sign ruled by the moon. But you're very creative. And with the Page of Swords, there is even is an opportunity for some of you guys to like write something or to create a YouTube channel or a TikTok or to even like a banking account or an Instagram or something, but there may be an opportunity for you to create something creative because I feel like you're very just tuned in and turned on at this time. You're very aware of things. We also have Neptune coming through, and Neptune is also highly psychic, rules over Pisces. So a lot of psychic energy is surrounding you guys at this time, and a lot of you guys are going to be very, very much getting downloads, getting visions, getting maybe vivid dreams. So possibly for some of you guys, it might be a great idea to start a dream journal or to write down your dreams every night, because you'll be amazed by the patterns that can happen. I think starting a dream journal is such a powerful thing. You might be surprised to be like, oh my gosh, it's the same locations or the same people or someone from my past, or I didn't know I was thinking about this thing so much. And a lot of times you might find those same patterns, like the same thing happens in your dreams or the same kind of vibe or the same generalized theme, but there's a very potent spiritual and psychic energy around you at this time. We also got the Seven of Wands. So a lot of people are feeling how powerful you guys are at this time. A lot of people possibly can sense the psychic abilities, or you may just be doing a really great job at work or in whatever field you're in and really standing out from the crowd. So I feel like a lot of you guys, it's almost like you're developing a reputation. People can see consistency with you. People can see that you're doing a great job, and it feels like it's really paying off. We have the Seven of Pentacles as well. So you might be continuing to just kill it at your job and continuing to do a great job. And you might find you get more attention this month somehow, and more people are noticing you. This may also be why you feel the need to kind of like hide away, spend a little time at home, bake and cook and walk around the kitchen and make stuff and like redo your bedroom and cozy up on the couch. And I didn't even notice we have the Death card, which is also ruled by Scorpio. So we have so much water energy. This is really crazy how much water we have. This is definitely kind of a psychic month for you, very interior month. And whenever we're going through a very psychic cycle, it's really important to make the most out of it. So I always think you should pay so much attention to the random visions, the random insights, the random like, I should do this. It's so funny because I find for me, like sometimes people think that all psychic visions come through as just a burst of full clarity, a burst of like, I know exactly what's going to happen with A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and every step along the way. And most of the time they don't. Occasionally that happens, which is always freaking awesome when it does. But most of the time you might just have a weird instinct of like, you know what, I should text that person. And then you open your text and there's a text from someone else that you need to respond to right at that moment. And you're like, I'm so glad I saw this. For me, a lot of times I'll get the instinct to check my email, and then there's an important email that like I need to respond to. And I didn't, maybe I was like chilling out, but I just suddenly am like, I need to check my email, and I'll do it mindlessly. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I checked it right now. Or, people will say, who avoided like a disaster, they'll say, I just randomly woke up that day and I just couldn't get myself to go to work. I just kept dragging my feet, and then something horrible happened at work, so I'm so glad that I like avoided it. And they didn't know why. It didn't make sense to them, but it was just this little urge. And so again, I think a lot of times psychic visions, psychic urges, sometimes they don't make sense to us in the moment, but they can be the most powerful thing. So if you feel an urge to do something this month and you're not fully quite sure like why it's happening, what's going on, don't necessarily throw it away and just be like, oh, whatever, because you're very much tuned in this month. You're very much aware and you're getting real guidance and real insights. So if you're like, I feel like I should call this person, but you know what? I haven't talked to them in forever. Why would I call them? They'll think it's weird. Just call them. You are so on point this month, and a lot of you guys may be getting really important, valuable insights. I'm hearing about your career. So if you're like, yeah, I've always been the person at my job who worked on the client relations, but I'm feeling really called to actually um, do like more of a mathematical job. But why would I do that? I love client relations, and I know this like makes no sense, but maybe you're like, I just want to step back a little and I want to do the behind the scenes. I don't want to talk to clients, but honestly, like I've been doing great at this. I'm killing it. Why would I take a step back? That doesn't make sense. Maybe listen to that, because again, you're going to be so on point this month. Even if you guys have been thinking about like getting some tarot cards or working on your psychic visions, maybe meditating, getting insights that way, I'm seeing that as a definite yes for you, because you might be amazed at how on point your visions are at this time. And if you started writing down, like making a little journal of your meditations, or writing down your tarot pulls and what you're thinking of it, you might look back on it in a month and be like, oh my gosh, so accurate. Wow, that ended up all coming true. So really pay attention this month to the visions that you're getting, because pile two, you're very on point. And like I said, your ancestors are really strongly around you. So, not everyone wants to work with the ancestors, but it's like, I always think that's like wasted opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you want them on your side? Because they're there anyway. So you might as well like ask them for help. I asked my ancestors for help with like everything I can think of. And so some people work with different, entities on the other side, and that's totally fine. But I do feel like you should know that, they're really hearing you on the other side right now. They're really listening to you. So whoever you want to work with, I would say use this month, because, it's on point and your voice is very much carrying this month. And whenever we have a team on the other side, which all of us do, and it is comprised of ancestors and angels and spirits and whatnot, a lot of times that's kind of like their job. They want to help us. So make sure you're really asking them and asking them to direct your steps, and then also listen. But let's get into some more cards. So we got travel, transformation, finding, and willpower. So I feel like there's a really strong thing of some of you guys stepping into your power this month, or stepping into a greater role. For some of you guys, it's almost like things that freaked you out in the past or that you were scared of. You might have even been scared of your own potential, is what I'm hearing. Some of you guys may have been kind of like hiding in the shadows, or kind of like, oh, I don't want to fully step into that. And I do feel like this month there is this energy of you guys pushing through and becoming a more powerful version of yourself, and no longer running away. Maybe even it could be with the Page of Swords, being more honest about yourself, your thoughts, your beliefs, or just being willing to show yourself on a much deeper level, being willing to be honest with the world about who you are. I always think that can be the scariest thing, especially, nowadays with like social media. And I think so many people are like, on one hand, drawn to showing themselves, but on the other hand, so afraid of what people will say, the judgment of others, that kind of a thing. And I think it's so important that we make sure that we only get one life. So we might as well live it as authentically as possible, show ourselves as authentically as possible. And the cool people will see us for what we are. They'll like us. The people that are meant for us will be magnetized to us. And the people that aren't for us will head the other direction. So for some of you guys, this is a call for you to be showing yourself more, to be more powerful, to be more honest and upfront about what you want, even if it's just at your job, being like, I really want to ask for a raise, but I'm kind of scared. My boss might get mad. And just being bold enough to be like, I'm asking, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to call him and I'm going to say I want that raise. I'm not going to be scared anymore about it. Yeah, because a lot of you guys are leaving behind this old version. And I feel like this old version of you, it's almost like a scared version. Like there's a part of you in the past that maybe you were kind of like trying to people please, trying to get people to like you. And now you're like, this is me and I don't care. And you can judge. I'm not going to let it bother me. There's a lot more boldness, and spirit wants to give you kind of a little pat on the back with that, like, wow, it's amazing that you guys have come to the place that you're at now, because I'm hearing in the past you would have been like super freaked out at the idea of anyone not liking you or anyone not vibing with you or anyone not getting you or misunderstanding you. Would have really driven you crazy. Now you're like, okay, doesn't matter to me, whatever. So for some of you guys as well, you may be traveling, you may have a little fun trip planned. If you're getting to drive to some fall foliage, I love that. I'm a little jealous, but yeah, for some of you guys, you might be traveling, going somewhere new. And I feel like what you need to know is like, what I'm getting strongly is that you are making some really fantastic moves career wise or with something in your life. And there's this fear on your part of like stagnancy, like feeling like, I don't know if I'm moving forward. And I feel like you really need to hear that you are definitely moving forward. Things are going really well for you. And so don't be freaked out if you're like, yeah, I haven't seen, like, I thought I was going to get this promotion, or I thought blah, blah, blah. Don't worry, because I feel like a lot of you guys are strongly moving forward with this. Let me pull some of these cards as well to kind of end this reading. I want a message card for pile number 2. We want a message for pile 2. Joy and delight. Open your heart to joy. Okay. And this one says, impasse, reflect and redirect your energy. And this one says, valiant courage, take action with passion. So I feel, the impasse card, it did come out actually upside down. But there may be things in your life that you could, take and switch up a little. Like I said, I feel like you're very on point psychically this month, and there may be things that come up where you're like, I need to switch this energy, I need to change that. Like that one is not working out the way I thought, or that one I feeling called to change it, tweak it, just do things a little bit differently. Don't be afraid to do that, because again, you're very on point this month. But I also feel like you need to know that you are moving forward with whatever this is. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? There's no need to be like, oh my gosh, it's not working out exactly like how I thought. You know what? I'm done. It's just, I'm not doing this. That's always a kind of silly energy to be in. Sometimes the best thing we can do is just keep moving forward, step after step, one foot in front of the other. And maybe we can change, maybe we can tweak, maybe we can do things a little bit differently. But there's always a beautiful opportunity to keep moving forward, keep up the same momentum, but just like maybe change some little details. So don't be afraid if you get a vision, an insight about like, you know what, I should change this. But I feel like honestly, like I said, there's a moving forward energy that I really like. And if anything, I feel like spirit is just asking you to kind of step it up a little and be courageous. Don't be scared. Don't be holding yourself back. This one says take courage, take action with passion. So it's like when we fully know something is for us, when we fully know that it's gonna work out and we can't fail, there's such a powerful energy we come into it with. We're not gonna come in sad and mealy mouthed and kind of like scared and not fully giving it our all. We're gonna be like, yep, this is me, this is 100% who I am. And there's so much boldness with that. It's almost like if you were being led into battle, wouldn't you want to be led into battle with this guy with so much courage who's just like, I don't know, Braveheart or something, screaming about like, we can do this, versus someone who's like, okay, so, well, we're going to try. And if it doesn't work out, we're going to step back. We don't have to do it. It's okay. It's like, if you're going to go in and try to make something happen, you've got to be courageous. You've got to be powerful. You've got to be strong-minded. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, there is this message in the month of October of just pushing yourself entirely, and also that your guides, angels, ancestors for sure for you guys with this reading, are so strongly around you. They're cheering you on. They want to see you thrive. They want to see you succeed. They want to see you do well. So allow them to help you, and just know that even if you feel like you're alone in this moment, you have a whole team of people working for you on the other side, 100%. And so ask them for help, appreciate them, give them thanks. Maybe, like I said, it's always fantastic, I think, to get in touch with, our ancestors, even way back 1,000 years, and their ways of worship or ways of talking to the other side, because all cultures have their own way of doing that. It can be super powerful to tap into that for ourselves. But either way, talking to our team on the other side, even just talking to them out loud, or being like, thank you guys for everything, is a really powerful step. So I feel like for you guys in the month of October, you're really refining your psychic abilities. You're getting in touch with your whole team on the other side. You're feeling them around you more than ever, and you are making a really great inroad on whatever this goal is, whatever this thing you're trying to build. Just trust and believe that it is happening. They are putting it together for you. You may not be exactly at the point you want to be at yet, but you will get there, pile two. So really hope that resonated, guys. Let me know if it did in the comments. I always love hearing from you guys, love hearing your thoughts, your stories, your reflections, all of it. So let me know. Also, make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button if it did resonate with you, and make sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications, hit that little bell so you can find out as soon as I post next. And if you want to see more of my content, then be sure to head to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. I just posted a reading all about what is meant for you in this lifetime. But as soon as you sign up, you'll get access to all my additional readings. So over 65 additional readings about so many different topics, and new ones go up all the time. So if you want to join us over there, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description, and I would love to see you there. Also, if you want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a half hour or a full hour-long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you. Yeah, you get to really choose what we talk about. So if you would like that, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile three, welcome to your reading. Let's start off with your oracle cards. You guys got Garden of Venus, Rest and Renewal, Netcaster, Preparations, Come to Fruition, and Dream Thief, Refusal of the Call. So what I'm hearing right off the bat is there may be someone in your life who betrays you in August. So it could be a friend, a family member. There may be someone who you kind of relied on, or you thought something was going to work out and it doesn't quite work out, and there may be a little bit of a feeling of loss or a feeling of betrayal a little bit with one of these people. So that's the first thing, but let's talk about your other cards as well. So we got the Garden of Venus card. So you might have a lot more opportunities to actually rest, sleep. This may be a little bit of an easier month for you in that sense. You may have a lot more time to yourself, or time off, or just time to be able to have like a long weekend and relax and enjoy a little bit. You might also be working on your self-care, improving your physical appearance in some way. For some of you guys, you might be like going to fitness classes or hitting the gym a little bit, or working on your diet and making sure that you're eating healthily, something like that. But there may be an emphasis on kind of like looking after yourself, self-care, maybe even doing facial masks or something like that, and really getting the opportunity and the time to give yourself that focus in the month of October. There also may be something really paying off, and I am hearing a lot of people in your life are noticing it. So it's almost like if you have been putting the work into a certain area, it could even be health, it could even be like you've been going to the gym and people are seeing the results of that, and they're like, wow, I can see more muscle, or you just look really good, you're kind of glowing. Like, I feel like physically there may be a payoff that's happening if that's something you guys have already begun, or it could be with something else in your life. But I'm feeling like people are noticing you. People have been seeing the work you're putting in as you go into the month of October. It's like people are talking about you. People, are chatting with your name. They kind of have taken notice of everything you guys are doing. And I do feel like there's still kind of this urge for you of like, I don't want that much attention, or like some fear of, oh, well, I don't really want people talking about me. And I feel like that's something a lot of you guys are going to have to get over with this Dream Thief card coming through. So if you're feeling that urge of just kind of staying in the shadows and hiding away, just know that in the month of October, it may not even be your choice. You may be kind of dragged out kicking and screaming into the limelight in some way, into the spotlight. But I feel like it's something a lot of you guys actually need to embrace and, be like, yeah, I do look really good. Yeah, I have been getting a lot of attention lately. You're right. I'm so glad you noticed, and thinking of it as a positive, not a negative. Let's get into your tarot though. So we got the Six of Swords. We got the Two of Pentacles, the Five of Cups, the High Priestess, the Tower, and the Chariot. So it feels like there's something a lot of you guys have outgrown. And this may be what people are noticing as well. It's kind of like sometimes when someone gets better, bigger and better, everyone else is gonna like notice it, and they might not say it like that way. They might not be like, oh my gosh, they've gotten so much better than all of us. Like, wow, they're really cool and we're a bunch of losers. They're probably not gonna say it like that. So they may even feel jealous, or they may react to it by putting the person down or being like, well, I didn't think it was that good, or oh, well, you think you're better than us, or something like that. But I'm hearing that there's something that you're outgrowing, and in October it may feel less and less like you can kind of shrink yourself down to fit into whatever this is. So if there's something at work that you've been like, yeah, I've really been putting in extra hours, I got some extra training, and I'm really working hard, and I'm really proud of myself. I feel like I've been leading the meetings, and the boss has been noticing me. It may be something that if you have a coworker that seems kind of shady about it, you can no longer pretend like it's not happening, and that kind of like tension comes to a little bit of a climax in October. So that coworker that maybe in the past you could kind of like keep them at arm's length and just keep the status quo as is, otherwise you're not able to do that anymore. That person, it may really come to a head, and they may really notice that like you're not really a fit with the office anymore. But it's not necessarily a bad thing, but there may be situations in life, however this manifests, whether it's with a job, whether it's with a relationship, that you're just like, it's not in alignment with me anymore. And I've outgrown it. I've gotten better, I've gotten bigger, I've gotten stronger. Like I'm hearing, Harder, Better, Faster by Daft Punk. So you might have gotten better in so many different ways, and it just may not quite fit into your life anymore. And you may be ready to leave it behind and leave it in the past in a way that you just weren't, when you were younger or whatever, or even just a month ago or in September. You may have still been like, no, I think I can make this work, no, it's gonna be fine. And now you're like, yep, I'm ready to leave it behind, I'm done, I'm good, I'm ready for some new adventure. And the exciting thing is that you got the Two of Pentacles, and the Two of Pentacles is a very much a planning card, that's about really, weighing your options and making an educated decision about what you want to do next and what's right for you. It is a planning energy. It's a two. So, usually the twos kind of have to do with some kind of planning and weighing and thinking things over and balancing things out. So it's a very methodical and a very like careful type of energy. So the beautiful thing is, if there is something that is ending, don't worry, you're not going to be left with nothing. The universe abhors a vacuum. So, they will always rush in to replace something once you've left it or removed it from your life. But you're going to have an opportunity to get to plan out this new stage, this new era, this new thing. So if you're like letting go of an old relationship, you might find that you're able to really spend time thinking about the new kind of person you want to date, and what they look like, and what they smell like, and what they talk about, and their interests and their hobbies. And you might find that you just are, it's reminding me of that TikTok sound that's like, imagine the same you, only better. And then it switches to like the music and people use that a lot for like before and after photos, but that's what they just played in my mind. Like, it's like, I think sometimes what we settle for, or the things we think we actually like, sometimes it's because we're at a certain stage, you know? Maybe it's like the job worked out for you perfectly at that time because that's what you needed and that was your experience level, and now you're ready to level up and get a much better job, or a new relationship, and in the past you settled for someone because that was all you felt you could get, and now you're like, I'm ready to date this person, that's what I want. But yeah, I think for a lot of you guys, there's something that may come to a head. For some of you guys, it may be in an unpleasant conversation or an unpleasant relationship dynamic. So it could be someone that you end up getting into an argument with, big argument with, or a falling out. So there can be a warning for you in the month of October about, a disagreement or a falling out or a argument that just kind of spirals out and is like an ending. So kind of sometimes if you're like, I don't want to have a falling out, then maybe you could watch your words extra this month, you know? No judgment from me. I'm an Aries third house, so I have definitely, said things that are like way over the top, and I would never judge someone if, like, to me, I kind of think that like if you have a falling out, huge argument, that was kind of what was meant to happen, to be honest. That's my thought, is like, if it needed to be said and the relationship couldn't withstand it, then it needed to be said, because I always think if someone's thinking that, I'd rather know anyway. But the thing about it is, if you're like, no, I don't want to have a falling out, then maybe like there can be that energy of watching what you say, or just kind of trying to be extra careful this month, so that nothing like blows up and is, because that's the problem, is sometimes if you say something and you really didn't mean to say something that harsh, and then you have to like walk it back, that's always difficult. But I generally think, you should stand by what you say. And if you had to say it, that must have been how you were thinking, what you were thinking. You know what I mean? So, like, most of the time, I don't think honesty, like if you're truly honest, sometimes that's a really positive thing. Like sometimes, if people were fully honest about how they felt, they would go around confessing love to all their crushes, and that would be good. So in general, I wish everyone was just more honest. And I think sometimes if you can't tell someone the truth, then it's not a relationship that should work out. So there may be a relationship here that is going to fall off in the month of October, or an ending, or something that you're just ready to leave behind. It feels like you're not wanting to put more energy into this. And we do have the Five of Cups and the Tower. So we have a lot of cards about transformations, leaving things behind, changing, but then we also have a lot of cards about forward momentum and a new trajectory, and replacing that with something new. So the Tower card is followed here by the Chariot. So generally speaking, that could be an ending that isn't going to be super pleasant, but is going to be something that allows you to bring in something totally new. So whatever this is, it feels like you are at the end of your rope with it. You're just not willing to make any more compromises to fit yourself into this situation. So yeah, I think it sounds like some of you guys are jonesing for a new start. And the thing about the Chariot as well is it can show concerted effort. So the guy is actively driving the Chariot. The Chariot isn't one of those cards like the Four of Cups that just shows something coming out of nowhere and spirit doing something to us, or the Wheel of Fortune or something like that. It is something that we decide ourselves. We make the choice. We put our eyes on something and then move towards it strongly. It's not something that we're just like, oh wow, this just fell into my lap and it just happened and I'm just kind of going with the flow. It's something that we decide. And as I always say, put my mind on it, then I put my grind on it. That the Chariot always reminds me of that quote, because it's all about using our conscious mind. And that's why the Chariot card is ruled by Cancer, because it's like our thoughts, feelings, emotions, our choice, not just something that is going to come from someone else, but something that comes from inside our subconscious or our psyche. So making sure that whatever we're doing is really authentic to us and really genuinely honoring those desires. So it's not just like, yeah, I quit my old job because it was too much of paperwork, and now I'm signing up for this new job that has an equal amount of paperwork. That's not really honoring us. Yeah, you quit your job and good for you. But you know, maybe the next job we can be really clear and careful about, I'm gonna find and make sure and align myself with a job that has less paperwork. So whatever we're getting rid of, we're replacing it with something better, not just the same old status quo. Let me get into some of these cards. So we got career, reconciliation, empowerment, and talent. Yeah, it feels like there may be a family thing, like a rocky family thing, or even if you had a falling out with someone in your family, some of you guys could be patching things back up, but I also feel like there could be some tension during this month. There could be a feeling of someone that you're just, it feels like you're butting heads, or it feels like you just can't get on the same page with this person. And I do feel like you're more empowered now, whereas in the past you might have, you know, just forgiven them or overlooked a lot, or set, you know, been fine with them saying anything and just tried to kind of keep the peace and keep things going. And now I feel like you're like, I'm not going to dull my shine for anyone. I love that this lady is standing in front of the moon, and she's standing in front of, you know, what looks like a big light around her, because when we kind of try to hide our light is when we're not empowered. That's when we are giving away our power to someone else. And when we're like, you know what, I am fully fine with shining as bright as possible, that's when people can get irritated or triggered, or they can be like, I just don't like them. I don't understand why they would say that. And a lot of it's jealousy, because people oftentimes don't even realize that they are jealous. They'll just find themselves randomly irritated by like a person, place, thing. They'll just find themselves being like, oh, can't believe she always dresses like that. You know, I mentioned it before, but I had like those coworkers that would always, the two girls who would always get mad at me for bringing a salad to lunch. It was so ridiculous. And then I found an email where she was like jealous and saying I didn't deserve the, I wasn't as smart as people thought. And anyway, to make a long story short, my point is they didn't come at me with like, well, you're not that smart, and we're irritated because we're jealous because you got promoted to be able to go to court all the time. This was like at a law job. No one was like that honest, right? Instead, what did they do? Oh my gosh, you're eating a salad, a salad, every day a salad. Oh my God. And they'd always go after my salads because that was like the target, right? That was the kind of acceptable thing you can make fun of. And a lot of times when someone's coming for us, or someone, you know, seems like they don't like us, it's not even about whatever issue they're going to bring up to us. It's not even about that. It's about something so much deeper, deeper seated. And it's about this kind of unconscious agreement that we enter into in a lot of relationships of like, oh, I'm not going to outshine you. Well, don't outshine me. I'll get mad. And so we enter into these kind of contracts with people that we don't say out loud, but where we're kind of like dulling our shine, and they kind of expect that. And when we step outside of us, they're not going to directly tell us like, hey, it really upsets me because I wanted to be the star and you went up in front of the whole workplace and you dominated the meeting. They're not going to say that to you, but they're going to say something like, well, you know, I thought your outfit, like your blouse, it was bright red. It was very distracting. I just feel like you get a lot of attention. You know what I mean? And so I think it's really important that we kind of root out when we do have someone in our life who has that energy towards us, because we can take it so deep. It's also subconscious. It's also unspoken. It's also like moon energy, like hidden and kind of veiled. And so it's really important that we kind of just have zero tolerance for it. So when someone's like, well, I couldn't believe you wore a red blouse, we just immediately know like, okay, I'm not going to talk to that person about anything. Or that we say, I love my red blouse. It looks fabulous. It looks so good. What do you mean? What's your problem? And just addressing it head on, because otherwise we can find ourselves sucked into the same kind of duplicity and the same lying, and engaging in it even is like dishonest. You know what I mean? Like even pretending that it's about the salad when it's not about the salad. It's about, I don't want you outshining me and I'm threatened by you, you know? So my point is for you, I don't know if this is like you're in a similar situation, or there's people in your life that are kind of like, let me keep pile three small. Let me keep pile three in their little box. Let me make sure pile three knows their place. But either way, it's not really acceptable and it's not something for us to engage in. And whatever excuse they make of like why they're mad, the reality is that they're probably threatened by your power. And the more we can be like, well, I'm going to shine regardless, that's when we truly step into our highest version of ourselves, and we can be the most authentic person, attract the most authentic friends, and have the kind of life that we really want to have, you know? So maybe you're done with like making kind of like, I want to say agreements, or kind of, what's the word? It's almost like when you go halfway or meet someone halfway, or I'm completely blanking, but you know, kind of like a truce, or you kind of don't fully represent your side and your interests, and you try to get along with them, and you know you're kind of betraying yourself. That is the worst feeling ever. So maybe this is you by the end of October, you're going to be much more authentic with like, no, this is what I want. This is what I need. I'm looking after myself and I don't care about you, and you're willing to shine yourself a little bit more brightly. Yeah, because I feel like it's like you guys just feel sick and tired of making these kind of concessions, I guess is the word, for others, or pretending for others. Let me get some of these cards. What messages do we have for pile number 3? Finding sanctuary, opening to your spiritual source. And we did get the High Priestess card for you guys. So you may be very highly psychic at this time as well. In the flow, everything is smooth sailing. Fogged in, go slow, take time, and finally, breaking trail, a breakthrough is at hand. And I'm hearing in my mind, breakthrough or breakdown. Sometimes those can also like be the same thing, even though they may look very different, and people may be like, oh my God, she had a breakdown and she screamed at everyone at work. Well, maybe they needed to be screamed at, you know what I mean? That's my Aries third house probably speaking, but like I'm like, well, sometimes it needs to be said, and sometimes it's a little harsh, you know? Again, my Mercury also squares Pluto, so I am a big fan of sometimes those harsh statements that need to be said, because I feel like so many people lie to themselves. So many people just tell themselves comforting nonsense. I mean, we all do it, right? We even do it to ourselves. We tell ourselves like, you know, it's fine that I didn't pay my bill and they repossessed my car. It's fine. I don't want that car anyway, so I'm fine that now I have a repossession on my credit history. And like, you know what? I don't want to have to pay a bill. You know what I mean? We all do stupid stuff like that. We all lie to ourselves in a million ways, or tell ourselves, I'm not really attracted to that kind of guy, because we don't think we get that kind of guy. You know, we're always humans. We just love those kind of like comforting lies. But I think the more honest we can be with ourselves, because it's almost like when you have a lie in the back of your mind, when you have a real thought, it just niggles away at you. It just kind of like eats away slowly, like that feeling of like, I'm not actually attracted to my boyfriend, but trying to force yourself to pretend like you are, you know, that will eat away at you. Or that feeling of this job is just not for me. I hate it. I hate my life. I hate my job. But no, it's fine. I need to pay this bill. It's going to be fine. My boss doesn't hate me, and it's eating away, eating away, eating away. And I think that the more honest we can be, the more we can just tell the truth, the more breakthroughs we have, even if it looks like a breakdown, because it leads to a tower moment. Because I honestly think that the more we're so much more likely to have a tower moment, the more lies we tell ourselves, the more we kind of cover up the truth, the more we pretend, the more we just tell ourselves things that we're comfortable with, because that feels good. Because let me pretend that this kind of road I'm like, it's like, you know how sometimes if you're driving and you take the wrong turn, and there's that feeling of like, oh, I should turn around, I don't know where I'm going, or I think this isn't the right path. But it's almost like you get so intent on it, you're like, I don't want to turn around now. Especially the further you go, the more you're like, okay, I've been driving for 10 minutes, my GPS still isn't working, but this does not look right. And the more stressed out you get, and the more you're like, no, I can't turn around. I've been driving for 10 minutes or 20 minutes or a half hour or an hour. And the more you're like, oh my God, as you feel the stress of knowing that you messed up and you should have turned around earlier. So it's like for you guys, we have a tower moment that there is a possibility of that. But I think it can also be avoided by asking yourself, what can I be brutally honest with myself about? What can I tell myself the truth entirely, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? I think that's why one of my favorite placements is my Mercury square Pluto, is because I think that generally speaking, you know, Pluto is like hard truths. And I hate when people lie, even to me. Like I've told before psychic readings, I'll tell people, just tell me the whole truth, by the way, like don't sugarcoat. I have Mercury square Pluto. Sometimes they don't know what that means. But it's funny because I had a lot of psychics who would be like, really? You really want the truth? And I always thought that was funny because I'm like, well, yeah, why would I, you know, I learned to start saying it just because I'd had so many people tell me do a psychic reading and then try to like tell me super positive stuff only. And so I was like, well, let me tell them this so I get the real truth. And I thought it was kind of crazy that they seemed surprised a lot of the time until I started doing readings, because I truly think a lot of people, they just kind of want to hear positive stuff. They just want to hear whatever is going to feed some delusion, you know, or some kind of feeling of like, it's all going to, everything's gonna happen exactly how I want it. It's all gonna be perfect. And the reality is that sometimes we need to tell ourselves the things that maybe we don't want to hear, the things that may be uncomfortable, the things that may be painful to admit, the times that we messed up, because honestly, it's probably fixable. Like if you turn back around in that car and you drive back that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you can probably fix it. The further you go out of the way, the more you're like, well, I've been driving for 6 hours and pretty sure I'm in the middle of a forest now and there's no one in sight. Though you're going to be in some big trouble by then, you know? But if you can nip it in the bud early and be like, yeah, I messed that up. Okay, let me go fix it. Then you can change whatever situation. So yeah, I think for you guys, you know, maybe this is a question about asking yourself as you head into October, like, what is it that has been bothering me or eating away at me, or something that I need to switch, change, address, something that I need to do a little bit different. And maybe it's painful to change it up now, but it's better to change it now here in October than to have to upend your life in like, you know, 2 years from now. Like, what's that saying? It's like, it's the only thing worse than, I don't know, doing something stupid is doing something stupid for like 2 hours instead of 1 hour. You know what I mean? And so I think a lot of you guys, this is going to be an impactful month for you. And there's a chance for you to really step into your authenticity of what you really want for you. Your intuition is probably going to be eating away at you, niggling away at you, just telling you what they want for you. And you should really pay attention this month. So I hope that resonated, guys. Let me know if it did in the comments. I always love hearing from you guys, hearing your thoughts, your stories, your reflections. So let me know what you think. Also, make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button if it did resonate, and make sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications, hit that little bell so you can find out as soon as I post next. And if you want to see more of my content, then be sure to head to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. So as soon as you sign up, you'll get access to over 65 additional readings, and new readings go up all the time. So I would absolutely love to have you guys join me over there, and the link is underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description. And if you guys want to get a private one-on-one reading with me, you can also get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and you can sign up for a half hour or a full hour long session with me, have me pull tarot for you, read your astrology, channel for you. Yeah, and you get to ask me about most things within reason, the vast majority of things. So anyway, if you want to get that, go to my website, briarrosetarot.com. Link is in my description for that as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am sending you so much love and light, and I'll be back again very soon with another reading. So take care, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.